He ranting.
Kate Carter having a rant.
Ranting as usual.
She's ranting. And that's Jan there. She's from the Dyer's Arms Public House. Very good pub. There's some materials here. We're just going to have a look at the pitch. So to see, we might as well do a pitch update while we're here. To see. Oh, look at that now. Looks like it's been.
A shower of rain could do it good.
What is it? What's on it? It looks like
Sand. It's a sand-based pitch now.
it's got
Soil.
slug pellets on it. Has it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the next bit?
If it's a grow.
Stick grass on it. Is the grass on that?
Paint it green. No, it's not much as well.
Looks dead flat as well, doesn't it? Look how flat it looks. Brian Lester, what are you doing here, and what have you got in your hand?
Blower,
What are you doing?
clearing the dirt off the stands.
Are you being paid for that?
No.
No, because we all do voluntary work around
All
here.
voluntary.
So credit to Brian Lester, who's here on a Saturday afternoon. Leek Town TV have just popped down to get a quick update as we do. And there we go. Does it say record? Jim Lockett, Leek Town Television, Mr. Chairman.
Good evening.
Good evening to you. Thank you very much for giving us some of your time once again. You probably don't realise, but you were probably one of the first people to be interviewed by the biggest broadcasting company in the town.
What a great honour.
I'm going to start this.
Things have only got better.
Well, what I would say is that was January. We're now June. We're still around. I think we're getting, people do watch us. So we've done something right. And I would argue, because obviously I'm in favour, because I'm running it, that we've generated a bit of interest in the football club. Would you agree?
I think I more than agree with that. You've brought a lot of credit to the club. You've brought a lot of what's the right word? Publicity to the club as well.
People.
You've done a smashing job.
I will take that praise, Jan. Jan is the camera woman, just plucked from the Dyers about 10 minutes ago.
Hi guys.
I'm going to start with some icebreakers. How old are you?
40.
I'm 40.
I know.
I look good.
Do you? Have you got a mirror? Sorry.
Married?
Yes.
Yeah, how long have you been married?
We're third year at the end of this month.
Third year. I've been married for 12 years. My missus is fantastic, by the way.
So's mine.
Kids?
Yes, one.
Yeah?
Lad.
Lad? How old's your lad?
14.
See, I didn't know he had kids. Does he come down here?
Yeah, every other week.
You have to introduce me. What's his name?
Ryan.
Ryan.
Lives in Derby with his
Ryan, come and say hello. You told me what I asked you about work. You said your animal feeds driving. Is that what you do?
Yep.
What do you do? Do you distribute them? What
Yeah.
kind of animal feeds?
Farms.
Right, so
No, we don't.
rabbit food.
No. Cows.
Right. Okay. Where'd you go? All over the country?
All over the country, yeah.
Your phone's ringing. I'm not going to answer it. It's Andrew Dow. Okay. We'll move on to the questions. Promotion, we missed out. I know that you were pretty devastated. I remember afterwards.
To say the least.
Yeah, I think we all were pretty devastated. Why do you think? I mean, only one goes up, so it's very, very hard to get promoted. And I'm sure Kazza would say exactly the same. It's very hard when only one goes up. But why do you think we fell short at the end?
I think everybody will admit, including the players, that that final game here against Sutton, we probably didn't turn up. What the reason behind that was, well, God only knows, to be fair. It was a totally different atmosphere. There was 1,200 in the ground, and it's sometimes a bit tough to adapt. But only the players themselves will probably know why and how they felt on the day as to why
Didn't happen.
It didn't really happen.
And it's one game, isn't it? Ultimately,
It's a lottery, you know, and everybody's up for it. They're up for it, and we're up for it. And you know, it was a tough game against Gresley on the Wednesday. That, you know, they certainly aren't an easy side to brush aside. But we did it, and maybe the legs just weren't up to it on the Saturday.
Okay, by missing out, was there a financial implication for the club? Did it cost the club money by missing out? Because obviously we're not in a...
No, it didn't. Well, I say no. It probably did an extra... Who's to say, to be fair? I mean, the gates are probably up if we did get up, because the away support that had come down to Ison Park is always up a little bit more in the Premier League. You perhaps attract a few more sponsors, but that's debatable until you get there. You don't know. So
there's not an immediate financial cost. It maybe, you know, if you looked into the future, it might, in terms of gate receipts, but so there's no immediate financial cost.
No.
Prior to the end of the season, Liam Shotton left the club. He went to Nantwich, reported he's earning 200 quid a week. That was the rumour. That might be wrong. That was the rumour. On a contract. Do you know how much he was? I take it you wouldn't be privy to that information, but...
I wasn't privy to what his actually final figure was. He came back to us with a figure. We tried to better what he was on with us, but I wasn't prepared to go to the lengths of what Nantwich did, because I think it'd be a bit of a what's the right
set
word?
a precedent.
Yeah, set a precedence, but also tie the club up for probably 2 years. When you don't know, when you never know what's around the corner. I'm not prepared to do that here at Leek Town and jeopardise anything on one player. Yes, it was. I think it was inevitable. It was a big loss, and maybe that was
A factor
towards what happened towards the end of the season. But you know, you don't begrudge him going on to higher football, and if there's a bigger wage to be earned, well, fair play to him, you know, and he's earned that. He's got to go and take it while it's there. So there's no hard feelings between us and Liam.
No, but I suppose this season, because you've got clubs like Stafford Rangers, Kidsgrove, you know, appear to be getting players. Shore Lane, I'm told they've got some money. You know, are we able to compete financially with the sort of, you know, the front runners next season as a club?
I don't know is the answer to that. We'll give the budget the best we can possibly give, and that's not putting the club at risk. If we can go that extra mile, we will. Now, what other clubs pay, that's up to them. That doesn't mean to say they're getting the best players. They might be paying more money for maybe worse players, we don't know.
Do you have like a wage structure? Do you have like a top?
No.
You won't go beyond, or?
We've set the budget. We've given the budget to the management team, and then they've got to manage that budget to give the players what they feel they've earned out of that budget, and we'll supply that budget week in, week out. And now the budget has been set so we can pay to the end of the season. Now, if we get more FA Cup money in, if we get more trophy money in,
that
if
can
we find bigger sponsors, that can go up. You know, it's not coming into the club to be wasted away. That will go on to the playing budget as we feel fit, and give it a go again.
You probably won't answer this. I'm going to ask you. What kind of wages can you earn playing for Leek Town?
It's a tough one.
So if I come along, good player,
We'll give you a tenner.
give me a tenner. But say I was 23, scoring goals, and you know, and Leek Town approached me. What can I earn?
I think there's players in our league are probably earning £150, £200, maybe a bit above.
Tenner. So you can earn 200 and 250 quid at this level.
Possibly, yeah. Not Leek Town, but
To the clubs. So that suggests to me a player playing semi-professional football at this level can earn £1,000 quid a month.
Possibly.
From playing football.
I mean,
And
my philosophy is you're setting a precedence by doing that, because if you're giving one player 250 quid or 200 quid, then the next player is probably or feels equally as good, wants the same. So at the end of the day, you've got to look at it, what can you average that money out for all the players?
Last week, I think it was the week before actually, I spoke to Jordan Johnson, and Ben Chapman. They've now moved on to Kidsgrove. I spoke to Geordie about the British Virgin Islands. He suggested that he perhaps felt from some quarters at the club, he wasn't specific, that he perhaps didn't get the support that he thought he could have got. I can't answer that right now. What's your view on that, your thoughts?
It was a very, very awkward time for everybody, to be honest with you. It was getting towards the end of the season, it was getting towards the business end of the season, and we were going to lose two key players in our squad. And then it materialised 48 hours before they all went, 3 players were going.
Mm-hmm.
And that made things very, very awkward. We'd just come on a run of, I think, was it 6 or 8 games where we hadn't lost. And then we were going to lose 3 key players, and we got some tough games with Sheffield coming up and a couple of others, and they were going to be missing. Now, it wasn't a case of they wouldn't get the backing of us. I mean, you know, it's an opportunity they couldn't miss. We understood that. It was a disappointing time because we put a lot of time, effort and money in, and we felt that could jeopardise our chances of doing what we wanted to do. So it was a kind of an awkward position. And we actually felt that the British Virgin Isles didn't do their job right. They didn't contact the club like every other country does, and we took advice from the FA, we took advice from different quarters, because they just literally told the player he's been picked. Well, what guarantees did we get? What happens if he got injured while we were playing? What happens with his wages and all the rest of it? We've got to go and find other players that's got to come in.
So was he still being paid while he's playing for them?
He had to be paid because he was a contracted player, the other 2 weren't. So we had to find these out, and I think he probably felt a little bit, they don't want me to go, that, you know, that wasn't the case. It was a case of we needed to know what a contracted player got injured. We'd have to still pay him.
So what kind of compensation you could be entitled to?
And we got nothing from the British Virgin Isles. No contact, no nothing.
So there's no hard feeling of him going. It was just how it was done.
How it was done.
You felt.
Yeah.
Fair enough. The players, I mean, we might as well mention it. Obviously, Geordie, Chappers, I think Donners as well. They've gone Kidsgrove.
Yep.
I suppose, why have they gone Kidsgrove? From your perspective, you know, are they making better offers than us, or is there a reason why they, or is it just a fact that, I mean, they were suggesting they're mates and they...
I think that's the key thing. I think if one goes, they're going to attract the others, and managers, you know, especially Wardy, he's a good bloke. He knows the scene. He knows who, if you know what I mean. He knows to tap the right player up, who will then tap the next player up. So, I mean, this time it's a merry-go-round. We all know that. It happens every single year. I think we've been lucky that we've kept most of our players the last couple of 3 years, but this time it's a little bit different.
Because I suppose it just, I mean, your regular supporter sees popular players going. It doesn't go down well. Maybe they don't understand what's going on behind the scenes, but on the face of it, you lose a few players and you don't hear about anyone coming in. It can unsettle the average supporter, couldn't it?
Yeah, it can. I mean, no one can sign for anybody until the 1st of July. You can agree terms, but to be quite frank with you, when kids go turn up for pre-season training a week on Saturday, 2 weeks on Saturday, and there's 10 midfield players, they're going to start saying to themselves, am I going to be first choice here?
Are they offering better money? Is that a factor?
I don't know what they're offering.
Have they come into money?
I really don't know what they're offering. I mean, Mick Fitzgerald is a good guy. He's got a bob or two, but I do believe he's not putting in as much as he used to put in. Whether they've got money behind them elsewhere, well, I don't know. But to be quite honest with you, if they want to go and play for Kidsgrove, well, fair play to them, let them go and do it.
We'll carry the club won't stop here, we'll replace them.
We've got to move on.
Okay, it'd be wrong of me to avoid speaking to you about Norton and the sort of rumblings, I think started January-ish, Obviously there was rumours, supporters pick up on rumours. The rumour was that they'd approached the club, offered to put some money in and to bring in their own management team, replacing our management. That was the rumour. Can you give us
I'll tell you the whole story, and forgive me if it goes on a little bit, but I had a phone call from their chairman, who was a very good friend of mine.
Who is
asking
that?
me, Steve Beaumont, asking me if I'd go and meet him. He got a proposition for me. So I went along and met him.
Hello, can I just go in there?
Del, this is Del. This is Leek Town Television.
Hello! What are we doing here? Interview?
Yeah, it's an interview, very formal.
Fantastic.
It's a crucial point as well.
That's it.
Sorry.
That's how I finished now. I went along and met him on my own, but I did inform a couple of board members I was going. I didn't know exactly what the proposition was. So I went to meet him.
Get him on, Jan, get him on.
I had 2 hours. I had 2 hours with him and sat down and went through everything. I then contacted the board of Leek Town and we sat around this table 48 hours later for 3.5 hours debating what was said to me. And yes, there was a substantial amount of money, I won't go into round figures, and yes, they did want to replace the manager with their manager. Now
Scott Dundas.
Yes. Now, what was agreed around this table was that we would defer it to the end of the season and discuss it then. And that's what we did. And we decided at the end of the season that we weren't going to replace our management structure. I think that was the best way forward. Now, I've been criticised for how it was handled. I've been criticised in many different quarters. But to be quite frank, I don't know how I could have handled it. Kazza and Beeves were told the day after we'd had our board meeting, before it got out anywhere else on the Friday. I met Steve on the Wednesday, we had a board meeting on the Thursday, we told Kazza and Beeves the whole scenario on the Friday. So nothing was secretive. What it was all kept within the board and the officials of the club. That's all it was kept. There was no need to go out anywhere else because nothing was decided.
So how did it leak? It
Well,
could have come from Norton, couldn't it?
It could have come from Norton, it could have come from players at Norton, knowing the rumbling.
What was going on?
And people know people who, you know, perhaps have been a bit confided in and all the rest of it, and rumours get out. Now I can't control rumours.
So initially then, you've had a board meeting and you've decided to defer it to the end of the season. So there was no sort of motion set, no vote at the initial meeting? Or did you have a vote?
We had a vote to say, do we dismiss it? Or do we consider it again at the end of the season? Because it would be wrong of Leek Town Board to say no, and this just say no straight off.
Without considering it?
Yeah, there's money involved, and Leek Town always needs money. Now, we got to get it, we got to get a vote to say, do we need this money? Do we need to move forward? Because when people put a lot of money into this club, they're going to say, well, you haven't taken this money, so why should I give you mine?
I mean, I know you're not going to give us exact figures, but you say substantial, so I'm you know, I mean, I'd like to probe that further. I don't know how I can without...
I'm not going to go into detail how much it was.
But it was a figure that you thought...
It wasn't a figure that's been quoted or bandied about the forum. It wasn't anywhere near that.
Right, okay. I mean, a figure I've read, 30 grand. Can you tell? I mean, is that...
We're playing higher or lower here?
Well, yeah. I'm not
going to say.
No, okay.
And I'm not going to go what was
But
discussed in
you-
that board meeting either.
No, well, that's fair enough. But to quote a substantial amount of money.
A substantial amount of money.
Okay. So at the end of the season, it went to a vote, I guess, is whether we...
No, we had a debate.
Right.
And we had a debate and everybody come to the same conclusion. Moving forward, the best thing for this football club was to keep everything the same as it is. And that's what's happening.
Right, fair enough. So there wasn't a vote as such round the table.
No, we had a big long debate about it, you know, we looked at the pluses, we looked at the minuses, and we put them all together and thought to ourselves, well, you know, we don't necessarily need this money, we managed to know. We certainly don't want to change the management wasn't even on the agenda, it was the money side, and how we could attract that money into the club. So.
Did you think at the time it affected the team? I mean, Geordie and Chappers said not. They said that Kazza and Beeves and Bake kept them fully focused on the football in any case. And to be honest, I'm popular tonight. I'm reluctant to make excuses for players personally because I don't see how that should affect them. But what was your view? Some people might argue it did.
I don't think it should affect the players what was going on. They obviously knew rumblings because at was it 3 or 4 weeks towards the end of the season, Norton had put their resignation into the league. Excuse me. And I think their players were told that they would be resigning from the league. And then, you know, 1,000,001 rumours fly around. I think, you know, there was rumours they were going to Kidsgrove, there was rumours they were going to Newcastle. You know, I heard quite a few different rumours. I mean, I'd heard rumours I'd resigned. You know,
you hadn't.
I had nothing to do with resigning. So, you know,
did it?
I wouldn't say it affected the players. It shouldn't have done. But they would get to hear different rumours. Now, whether that affects them mentally, well, I don't know.
In terms of your relationship with the sort of management playing side, did it have an influence on? Because I mean, I guess it was a tough time for everyone.
It was a tough time. It has put a strain on us, you know, there's no denying that.
And like your relationship with Kazza and Beeves, has that been affected by it, do you think, or not?
He put a strain on us, yeah. There's no, you know, when things like that happen, people, at the end of the day, Kazza and Beeves, if it had gone through, would have had the rough end of the stick because they haven't put a foot wrong. They've done nothing wrong. They've only actually brought credit and prestige to the club, you know, for what they've done here over the past 4 or 5 years. They have certainly not put a foot wrong, and the amount of work and time and effort that Kazza and Beeves put in, you wouldn't get from any other manager, and I doubt we've ever had from any other manager at Leek Town. So they would have had the rough end of the stick. Now, what you've got to remember is they aren't board members, so what's privy around this table with board members isn't necessarily privy to them, and they get to hear rumours. Now, whether they choose to listen to rumours rather than what's told to them, well, you know, that's up to them at the end of the day.
But going forward, I mean, how's things now? Is it behind everyone and you're just moving on?
Yeah, we're moving on. You know, we've got to move on. They're in place, they're in the management, they're still the management, they're still working the socks off trying to bring players in, they're still talking every day, you know, to 5 or 6 different players, I assume. It's a quiet time of year for me in the management side because we don't speak as often because it's close season. They've got to go and get on with their jobs. If they phone me up after every time they speak to a player,
you'd be never off the phone.
we're never off the blooming phone. Now, I like to know when we're signing players, but we can't sign anybody till the 1st of July, so my phone's quiet regarding Kazza and Beeves.
The Leek Town Forum, all sorts gets blogged on there. I've read a lot of nonsense. I've read a lot of, you know, constructive stuff as well. As a chairman of the football club, I suppose when things go well, you get credit. When things are not going so well, you get criticised. I guess that goes with the territory.
I think with the chairman, I'll tell you a fact. When the team's doing well, the manager gets the praise. When the club's doing bad, the chairman gets all the boos. So the chairman doesn't win.
Because I've read criticism, you know, on one particular poster I won't name, but was quite critical of you recently.
Yeah, I think it was critical because I hadn't told the general public what has actually gone on.
Do you think the club
secretive?
No, I mean that's a question I should have asked earlier. Do you think the club should have come out with a public statement to just
say
put?
What?
I don't know, but there's a lot of rumours, isn't there, going around this Norton thing. Could we have gone public and said, right, these are the facts. these are the facts. This is where we're at. Could something about that have done to have perhaps played
It
down?
perhaps could have done. I've never been in that sort of situation before. I've never managed that sort of situation. So it's all new to me. Now we as a board are behind one another. And we as a board decide whether the statement's going out or not. And we decided as a board, not as me, not come from me, collectively as a board, we decided we'd keep our mouths shut and just get on with things. Nothing has changed. So all we'd put out, Leek Town is running as normal. That's all it would do.
Do you ever get any criticism? Does anyone come up to you and give you grief?
Yeah.
Do you get grief when you're wandering around?
His shoulders are quite broad, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, fair
A lot
enough.
of things, I listen, you know, and sometimes it's good criticism because I'm not always right.
Yeah.
I like criticism sometimes because it puts a different perspective on things. Sometimes in this room on a Thursday night, you know, a board meeting, you can come in a little bubble. Things can run away with you a little bit. When you go out there and the general supporters coming to you and saying, I think you've done this wrong, or you should be done that, like that, maybe he's right. You
Well,
know.
I'll try and rattle through these last two because I think I've gone on a bit, but there was things I needed to explore, or wanted to explore. Admission prices going up from £7.50 to £8, £4.50 to £5 for concessions. Any comments in relation to that?
No, I think, you know, you go to some away grounds and you see they're paying £8–9 to get in, and the ground is nowhere near as good as what we've got here now.
I think it's reasonable for what it's worth.
For the football that we're watching now, this next season could be a totally different kettle of fish. We don't know. We're not there yet. We don't know what the team is. But I think for what you're getting when you come into this ground, I think it's good value for money. We've tried to keep it as low as we can, but like everything else, everything goes up. It doesn't come down, unfortunately. And we want to give the best budget out there. We want to try and enhance the club. We've spent a lot of money ourselves around this club, this close season, and all we're asking is for
an extra 50p.
Yeah.
To be honest, it makes life easier as a steward because they run out of change and
No,
stuff.
that's right,
50p. So,
yeah.
Season tickets. There's an offer this time. You know, £25 cash back should we reach 80 season tickets. I mean, I think that's, you know, a fair offer. Still quite a lot of tickets to shift. You know, can you tell us how many or if
I can't. I don't honestly know. I think John Eales
is looking after that.
Dealing with that sort of stuff. I honestly don't know. It's a funny time of year. People go on holiday. People won't buy till closer to the season, and also obviously the squad's a little bit depleted at the moment.
So they're waiting to see
perhaps
you.
just hanging back a little bit.
The junior section, it's the presentation this evening. How well do you think the junior section is integrated into the football club?
Yeah, I think it's done well. I mean, like, again, 5–6 years ago when me, Dennis and Andy Taylor first set that up, you know, it wasn't there. Now we're having dues, like you say, down here tonight. So I think it's good for the club. I think there's still work to be done to try and bring everybody together. But I think you can, you know, we're walking before we can run. So it's, you know, we're getting there.
Just a couple more. The supporters club, they're running again. I know relationships in the past have come a bit strained for whatever reason. You know, I know there's been various reasons, but I guess looking forward, we're looking to get everyone on board. And any views?
Yeah, I think it's good for the club. I think last time it kind of got a little bit out of hand in different areas. And I think we can all work together, and I think it can only be a positive step forward, provided we do all work together. We're not just going off on our own tangents.
When you say out of hand, what do you mean?
Well, there was certain, you know, where they get away buses and they all get drunk, and it calls a bit of a reputation away. I think we've got to be careful on that sort of thing because it's the club that gets scarred, not the supporters club. It's the club. So just bringing things like that back down to earth a little bit, and going away and actually having a good time. There's nobody you know, bothered about having a good time, but
But we're looking to obviously work together and.
Yeah.
Okay, finally, how long have you been the chairman?
Oh, that's the toughest question of what? Is it 6 years this time?
6 years. How long do you think you can go on for?
Another 6 weeks. No, I don't know. As long as people want me. I've been a director here since '98, so I've been here a long time.
So you've no plans. Your plan obviously is to just carry on. You've no sort of long term.
I'd like to. Well, I have now. We've got John Eales involved. He's kind of working as a director, come chief executive role, just to try and take a little bit of pressure off me. Because not only Leek Town, I'm a director of the Northern Premier League as well.
Is it stressful?
What, being the chairman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it impact upon your life?
Yeah. Oh yeah, people don't realise. I mean, I'm Leek Town through and through, and if I wasn't the chairman, I'd be buying a season ticket.
Is it worth it? You see, that's a good point. You know, we mentioned this before. For all of what the critics, you know, and you're going to get them, I don't doubt that you don't love this football club, and I don't think that should be doubted. That's my, you know, I've known you for a few years now, and despite everything else, you know, you do love this football club. I don't think that can be debated. Stressful, I suppose it affects your own life. Is it worth it? Is it worth the hassle?
Well,
to conclude.
The dog on a Saturday afternoon gets more kicks than the football on a Saturday afternoon, I think, sometimes, but no, that's being cruel. Don't record that.
You didn't mean it?
No, but
I mean, is it worth the hassle?
sometimes you think no. And this last, you know, with the Norton thing and all the...
Has this been the hardest time?
I've had a lot of hard times here, a lot of tough, I wouldn't say hard times, no, that's wrong, that's totally wrong. A lot of tough decisions to make, I think, would be the better way of putting things. And a lot of things to follow through that come from the FA. You know, we've had people banned from here by the FA. So I've got, you know, you have to oversee that. It was a tough time, the Norton thing was, but again, you know, the shoulders are fairly broad. I can take criticism, I don't mind criticism, providing it's aimed right. And if it starts getting too personal, then that's when you start thinking, I'll either rise above it, or is it all worth it? At the moment I'm rising above everything. And you know, I'm here to be shot down. You know, the person at the top's usually there to be shot down. And but when you look at what good we brought to the club as a board, not just me, as a whole board, I mean, out there I'll go and have a look at it in a minute. Hopefully it'll be green in 3 or 4 weeks' time. The scaffolding up's across there now. We're having a brand new 7 grand boiler because it was on its last legs and caught fire last time. The junior section,
loads of good things. Loads of
the fencing's up.
Yeah, the club is undoubtedly in a good position, you know, and you should take some credit for that. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up because we could go on for ages. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your honesty.
No problem.
You know, that's very good of you, and no doubt I'll, you know, in another 6 months I might come and mind you again when the next thing flares up and we can get an interview. Thank you very much.
Out by then.
Mr. Chairman, thank you, Jan. Thank you very much. Leek Town TV signing off.